Okay, we're going to take a look at what's going to happen this weekend in Week 11 NFL action. A lot of stuff going on. It is Tuesday, so we are missing information that we will benefit from as we learn, mostly injuries. And it's not just key players like the ones you talk about all the time, quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers. A lot of the injuries come down to your linemen, missing linemen here, left tackle, right tackle, defensive back. These are also very important players that we need to put a little bit more focus on. On Thursday, Washington goes to Philadelphia. Now, this is the division game, and Washington is the upstart team this year, of course, 7-3 on the season straight up. Philadelphia 7-2. That's because of the bye week issue. This game opened Philadelphia 349.5. We're looking at 49s, and we're looking at money has come in on Philadelphia 3.5. Now, when you look at these two teams, I mean, the pedigree, obviously, is Philadelphia. They were in the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. They've got Hurts, and they're playing pretty well right now, but you can't discount Washington. I mean, they had a tough game last week. They lose that game to Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh, they played well. They played well. I thought Pittsburgh should have won it maybe a little bit easier than they did, but they played well in the game, and they do have a good coaching staff, good ownership, it appears. And this team is dangerous. Daniels is definitely, I know he wasn't picked number one as the number one quarterback, but he's definitely the best of the rookie group coming into the season. Now we go to Green Bay at Chicago. Now here's an interesting game. They're all interesting to a degree, but Green Bay 6-40.5. We see some 41s. You're going to have weather. It looks like weather here. Green Bay 6-3. Chicago's 4-5. Now, if you recall, Green Bay was home to the Lions, and the Lions absolutely crushed them. But last week, Chicago was a favorite over the Patriots, and the Patriots crushed them. And the Patriots are not very good. They're a pretty bad team. So what the hell is going on with the Chicago Bears? They do have the number one draft choice in Williams. They just fired the offensive coordinator for the Bears, and I think this is a shit show in Chicago. Did they give up? The players don't give up because they're playing for their jobs, so you can't really say that. But the attitude and the enthusiasm in the clubhouse, locker room, around the team changes. Green Bay 6 on the road at Chicago. You're not going to see that kind of number. The division game, rivalry, probably 100 games between these two teams over the years. I like Green Bay, but I can't lay that number on the road. If you're into teasers, that might be a teaser play. Cleveland goes to New Orleans. Now, New Orleans picked off Atlanta last week. They beat them. Cleveland's coming off the bye. You really don't know what the hell you're going to get from Cleveland. I mean, I know Watson's gone. You have Jameis Winston, a quarterback. But the last time they went out there, they had that game, the first game when he comes back, he won. Then the last week they played, they looked absolutely terrible. Now they had the bye week. Now they're ready to go into New Orleans. Saints had some injuries. They had lost a bunch of games in a row. They did beat Atlanta, which was a division game. Cleveland's 2-7, and the Saints are 3-7. So you're really not talking about quality stuff here. But somebody's going to win. Somebody's going to cover. We're looking at the Saints 1-44.5, and that's about what it opened. No, there was a little bit more money. There was actually money, a bigger price on the Saints opening this up. You could have found a 2.5. So the money has come in on Cleveland. That's probably because they're coming off the bye. so they're rested. And this is kind of a revenge game because Jameis Winston did play for the Saints before he went to Cleveland. I'm not going to say much about this at this moment. We did the next game. I had the Rams Monday night against Miami. I mean, I'm on a pretty good run right now. I was 24-10 going into that game. So I'm 24-11. That's a pretty good run. But the Rams just, whew, that was a horrible, horrible performance. I thought I had the better coach. I thought I had the better quarterback. I thought I had the healthier wide receivers because Tua a little banged up with the wrist and everything. And the game was, they were never in it. 5 field goals, never scored a touchdown. It was just a walk in the park for Miami. And that was unbelievable to watch that. The Rams, 4.5 on the road at New England Patriots, who just beat Chicago, which really, we can't give them a lot of credit for that. The total's 44.5. I'm going to say you got to give the New England a little bit of a bump here because they're playing enthusiastically, young team, playing for their jobs, new regime there. This isn't the old Patriots. This is no Belichick Brady stuff. But I don't know what the Rams are. They're going to could run into some weather here. The Rams aren't really used to that. Playing on the West Coast indoor stadium stuff like that. I favored New England, but we're probably never going to see it. But if I could get 6 with New England, I'd probably bet them. Baltimore at Pittsburgh is one of the marquee games of the week. Huge game. Now, these two teams is a division game. We've got a history in this that goes way back. They play all the time, at least twice a year. Baltimore at Pittsburgh. Baltimore 348. That's what the number is I'm looking at right now. This is a big dog series. Pittsburgh's coming to play. They're not going to give this up. They know how to defend Lamar, and Lamar's not easy to defend. But when you play him a couple times a year, you can figure out how to do it. And Tomlin's a good coach. Not then Harbaugh's a good coach too. So this is a hell of a game. A hell of a game to watch. Hell of a game to bet. Maybe a lot of in-game action. I favor the dog. I don't know that you'll ever see 4. It would be a nice number to get. But right now it's 348. Baltimore is the favorite on the road at Pittsburgh. That's hard to find. I mean, you don't usually see Pittsburgh as a home underdog, but you have it here. Next game, Vegas and Miami. And we just said Miami just went into the Rams and beat the Rams. Vegas coming off the bye. They didn't play last week. Miami 7.5, 44. And I don't know. Can Vegas put together a game? Pretty bad football team. They're both bad, actually. Miami 3-6, but they're coming off the victory, and that's big. That could give them the momentum. I mean, they are playing the AFC East, and there's not much going on in the AFC East except for the Bills. So that's where we're at here. Go to the next game, Jacksonville, who's another dumpster fire. 2-8 on the season, going to Detroit, 8-1. And here you got the Detroit 13, a 13-point favorite. That's right. And 47.5 is the total. Jacksonville has got to dump their coach. They got to do something. I mean, they're going to mess. They're down to playing Mac Jones, which, it's because of the Lawrence injuries. I don't know. I can't make any heads or tails of this game. Minnesota, Tennessee. Minnesota should have won by a lot last week. They ran up and down the field, just made mistakes. They didn't cover. They won. They're 7-2 on the season. Tennessee is another dumpster fire, 2-7. They played a little bit better in times last week. It wasn't exactly terrible. We're looking at Minnesota 5.5, 6, and 39. You might be looking at an under here. Yeah, I could see that. I could see an under. I don't see how Tennessee's going to put up many points against this team. The Colts. No, boy, this is another one. At the Jets, 4-6 team against a 3-7 team. You got two old quarterbacks playing in this game. You got Flacco for the Colts, and of course for the Jets you have Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers is playing a little bit better than Flacco this year. Flacco, this is not the Flacco we saw last year with Cleveland. And he's actually playing pretty damn bad, actually. And so we look at the Jets, 3.5 or 4, 43.5. And I don't know. Let's let me see here. Hold on a second. Interruption there. I would probably favor the Jets except for one thing. Since they fired Saleh, who was a hell of a defensive coach. I know he was the head coach of the Jets, but he had a lot of influence on the defense. And even though they weren't doing much offensively under him, their defense always played tough. But look at what happened last week. I mean, Arizona scored 31 points and they didn't even play the fourth quarter. So, I mean, they gave up 31 points to Arizona in 3 quarters. Flacco might have a good game, and they got enough talent. If I played the game, I'd probably be on the dog here, especially if I could get 4 just for the hell of it. I mean, it's a number play, really. You got 2 teams that are really bad. Yeah, that's probably what I would do. Next game's interesting. Seattle, San Francisco. Now, Seattle coming off the bye. They're getting 6.5 points here. 49.5 is the total. San Francisco's got some players back, but, they're not really playing San Francisco ball. They're just careless. They're making mistakes. Their special teams aren't really playing well. This team is has slipped a little bit. Now, I know they were in the Super Bowl a couple times the last few years. Last year, obviously lost to Kansas City. But I think I'd be looking at Seattle here. The division game, huge game. They're 4-5 on the season. San Francisco's 5-4. We got, it is what it is. You look at it, they're not that much different. Yes, I can see why they're favored, but taking 6.5 or 7, actually, I do see a 7. If you can get a full 7, 6.5, maybe even money when you're not laying any juice. I could see that. Atlanta at Denver. Now, Atlanta lost last week to the Saints division game. Denver, oh man, they played their asses off at Kansas City. They should have won the game. Had the blocked field goal at the end. That's why they lost. And Kansas City walks away with the victory. Denver's playing some good ball. They're a 2-point favorite in this game over Atlanta. And the total is 43.5, 44. You can see both. Road game for Atlanta, off a division, off a win, off a loss. Denver lost also. I favor Denver. I'm not going to lay, this is the kind of game where I would say, okay, I favor Denver. You're probably looking at numbers, probably 1, 2, 1 and 2.5. I'd probably play Denver the money line here. That's probably the way I look at this. I like the way Knicks is playing. They're well coached. They play hard defense. They're tough. Atlanta's a little bit soft. They don't put a lot of pressure on the quarterback. Knicks should be able to do what he wants to do. And Denver's defense is pretty rough. I think Denver's the right side here. Kansas City at Buffalo. This is a big another. We got some marquee games this coming week. Kansas City at Buffalo. This is, what a history between these two. And Buffalo has a tough time beating these guys. I'll tell you, Buffalo's favored. They're at home. Open 2.5. It's down to 1.5. 45.5. But Kansas City is not playing well. I know they're 9-0, but man, they play close to the vest. And they should have lost last week. Andy Reid laid it on the line to the team. He is not happy with how careless they are and how non-focused they are. You might see an upgrade in focus here from Kansas City because Andy was not happy with the way they've been playing. And like I said, they should have lost that game. Coaching wise, you got the best coaches on Kansas City. Quarterback, okay, let's call it even. Yeah, this is a tough game. I mean, I don't know what you're going to get here game time, but if you could get 2.5 or 3 with Kansas City, oh my goodness, you'd have to take them. You have to take them. I know it's on the road, but Kansas City good. They're 9-0, Buffalo's 8-2, and you just can't give them a full field goal if that happens. If you're not getting the value in the number, I'd probably pass it. That's probably how I'd look at it. This is do or die here for Cincinnati. I don't know. I don't know if they still have hope at 4-6. You still got 7 more games to go to make the playoffs. So obviously, you're looking at wild card possibilities. This is an AFC game. It's not a division game. The Chargers are 6-3, playing well under Harbaugh. Cincinnati is not as well coached as the Chargers, but offensively, they have a lot of skill. They can really move the ball, score points. Chargers are 1.5. It's been 1.5 since pretty much. You did see a 2 early, but 1.5 is the number. Chargers never get much home field advantage, but cross-country trip for Cincinnati. Joe Burrow, Herbert. This good game, very good game. I'd probably look at the total. Providing, you probably look at the total here. Houston at Dallas. Oh, the Dallas is a dumpster fire. This is the Jerry Jones-led Dallas Cowboys who have messed up just about everything this year. 3-6 on the year. They're not going anywhere. Dak's having season-ending surgery. They can't run the ball. But Houston we got regression from Stroud. They took the big lead over Detroit last week, and then the second half they didn't score a point, and they lost the game. Now, we know Detroit's good, but to not be able to score a point in the second half, they've had wide receiver issues. They have the one wide receiver out for the year. The other guy's been week to week, and he didn't play again last week. And Stroud is hitting the sophomore slump. But the weapons make a difference. And the offensive line issues that they have. So you're looking at Houston at Dallas is 7.5 point favorite, 42.5. Woo, I don't know about that. I'm not laying it, but that's what we got going on this week. We got some big plays up on the site, and I'm looking for a good week. We went into the Monday night game 24-10 on a 24-10 run. We did lose with the Rams. Sorry about that. That was a bad call on my part. But so that's 24-11. The last 35 plays, which isn't bad. And we got some big plays on the website, and we're going to have some big plays for sale. And I expect we're going to have a real good week. That's it for today.